Let's Draw, a series where we will be drawing 7 characters from a single anime or manga and dividing it in 7 videos. Notice how I said we will be drawing? That's because at the end of each video, you will have the choice to decide which character we draw next. The first anime we will be kicking things off with is good old Naruto. And the second character we will be drawing is none other than Sasuke Uchiha, which you guys actually voted for, knocking out Sakura out of this competition and reducing her chances of getting drawn by me to absolute zero. And if I have to be completely honest, I am extremely thankful to you guys because I really did not want to draw Sakura, and although Sasuke is a character I love to hate, I would much rather draw him because at least he looks cool. Now kick back, relax, choose wisely, and let's draw. So how about that, guys? The first ever poll I hosted on my channel about which character to draw next has resulted successfully, I would say. And why do you ask if it's successfully? Well, that's easy because Sakura got knocked out of the competition, and I bet you weren't expecting that. I bet you weren't expecting this to be kind of like a death match. And, whichever character doesn't get voted is officially out of the competition. They have zero chances of getting drawn by me, so that's why I say choose and vote wisely. If you have a character that you really love, you best believe you gotta vote for them, because otherwise, they're not good enough to be drawn by the master, the almighty god, with the 300 subscribers, Vakudra. And it was kind of funny, actually, when I posted this story on my Instagram, stories, and asked people to vote for Sasuke because, I was desperate not to draw Sakura. I genuinely had a bunch of people go out of their way to spike me and vote for Sakura in order for me to have a bad time. And those guys, I will remember your names, and I actually said it on my story on Instagram that I will remember your guys' names. And it's funny because a lot of my good friends that were not involved in all of this, they just started coming out and defending themselves like, oh no, it's, I like Sakura, she's cute, the color pink is nice. And I just find it really funny, as if I was really going to dish out some divine retribution or anything. But yeah, that's what, fear does to people. And speaking of fear, oh my god, am I a bit weary of talking about Sasuke today? Once again, we have no script, we're just talking from the soul. And it's a bit harder because, English is not my first language, but I'm gonna try for your guys' sake. The reason I'm weary of talking about Sasuke today is because I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I do not like Sasuke. I appreciate Sasuke, I appreciate what he is there to do. I appreciate what he contributes to the story, certain moments and aspects, but overall, ever since I was young, I just never liked Sasuke. He always reminded me of those, gifted children at school. Those that were constantly being bombarded with comments about being talented, that they will go a long way in life, and so on and so forth. And that always kind of annoyed me because as a kid that was fairly average at whatever, maybe drawing was my only excelling point. Seeing a character like Sasuke exist in an anime kind of made me angry because you go at school, you kind of get to look at all of these kids that are, constantly bombarded by compliments about how good they are at maths, at singing, and whatever. And then you're like, Jesus Christ, I didn't get a single compliment. Come on, guys, I'm like 7 years old. Can't you spare something for me? But you go back from school and you turn on some cartoons, some anime, you want to chillax, and then you get Sasuke, and you kind of see yourself like Naruto or somebody else, and you get to see Kakashi being like, yeah, Sasuke, he's the last remaining guy of the Uchiha clan, and they're the most powerful, and he's gonna go a long way, and whatnot. And you're like, come on, man, come on, give me a break. So yeah, I have this childhood grudge against Sasuke, and I don't think I will hold back on it in this video. So take everything with a grain of salt and try to put yourself in my perspective. Again, I appreciate Sasuke for a lot of things, which I will talk about, but I also probably gonna, put a more emphasis on the things I hate. So first impressions, the first time I saw Sasuke, like any kid, I think, I was actually quite captivated by him. He was pretty cool, honestly. He's like this brooding bad boy, the girls love him and whatnot. And you're kind of like, yeah, I think this is probably what I am like in school, right? I think a lot of young kids probably thought they were cool like Sasuke, sitting at the back of class, looking dramatically out of the window. Teacher, comes up to them, they're like, did you write your homework? And they're like, there is a man I have to kill. so, I understand the appeal of Sasuke when you're young. But as time went on and I got to see Sasuke's progression in the series, I kind of, maybe, just maybe, realized that we're not one and the same. For examples, I'm not a descendant of one of the most, if not the most powerful clan in the village. Number 2, I do not live in a village. I live in a city in Bulgaria. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of ninjas in Bulgaria. But no, what I'm trying to say is, as time went on, I kind of realized that Sasuke has been implanted with all of these natural gifts. The Sharingan, other, bigger chakra pool, shit like that. I can't recall it exactly, but I just remember that he was constantly being shown as the talented rookie, the most talented rookie out of all. And as time went on, comparing that to myself, I started kind of realizing that maybe I kind of resemble Naruto more than Sasuke. For example, I never had that much luck with girls in school, so I kind of quickly figured out that maybe I'm Naruto. And once Naruto kind of unlocked his demon fox, as I talked in my previous video, and I started searching my belly button to see if I have a demon inside of me as well, I kind of realized I don't have a demon inside of me. And then I was left like really perplexed. I was like, am I a Sakura? Is Sakura the character I'm supposed to relate to? This isn't right. And thank God Rock Lee showed up, and that kind of changed my life forever. Because no matter how we look at it, I am a certified Rock Lee, baby. But yeah, in general, I first really liked Sasuke. I liked his so-called sacrifice during the Zabuza arc when he fought, against Haku. And it was kind of weird for me back then because I didn't realize Sasuke would live. I genuinely thought he died the first time watching, and when he, came back, I was like, oh, how did it happen? And then they explained that Haku actually spared him, and I was like, oh, Haku, this is just great, And that's a moment I really appreciate of Sasuke, because up until then, you kind of think Sasuke is this like, I serve my own interests no matter what, because I have to remain alive to exact revenge on the man I have to kill, being Itachi, right? But, seeing him throwing himself in harm's danger to protect Naruto, which you thought that maybe Sasuke doesn't like or maybe he hates, kind of really puts into perspective how he had this code of the ninja honor way of thinking, rooted inside of him, and I really like that. Really respectable shit, honestly. But as the series went on, I kind of started rolling my eyes when Sasuke kept getting bombarded with either power-ups or special treatment by everybody else. And what I mean is, you got everybody expressing interest in him, Everybody is just always Sasuke, and this is exactly how Naruto feels as well, You have Orochimaru in the Forest of Death. He's like, ah, yes, Sasuke. Then you have Kakashi being like, I will disregard my entire squad and just focus on Sasuke alone. And I know what you're maybe thinking, well, but didn't he hire like a teacher for Naruto as well? It's not like he left him alone. Yeah, he hired fucking Ibisu, bro. It's like, what is Ibisu going to do? You know, thank God Jiraiya was there by chance, by luck. Otherwise, I don't know what Ibisu would have taught Naruto, honestly. So instead of like being relieved this Sasuke enters a scene in the future, you're like, oh yeah, oh great, Sasuke's here. I wonder what will happen this time. Maybe some spectacular new jutsu will show up, right? And wow, I can't wait. He's gonna get all the spotlight, and it's gonna be Sasuke save the day once again. Great, you know. So I genuinely just started disliking him in the future, and even in Shippuden, I really do not, it didn't change. Granted, he does look cool. Sasuke is one of the coolest looking characters. Everything from his beginning fit, to his Chunin exam black outfit, which is honestly my favorite, to the way his eyes, you know, they kept drawing his eyes really well with the Sharingan. I really appreciate it. And, you know, these eyes placed, you know, on the backdrop of a Chidori always looked amazing, because, you know, you have red and blue, they're complementary colors. So I really appreciated the scenes where Sasuke, you know, looked cool, because in the scenes where he looked cool, he looked amazing, right? So yeah. And then after, you know, when he fought Naruto at the Valley of the End, the duck feet on his back, you know. Well, my girlfriend calls them the duck feet. I genuinely like those hands. Those hand wings are just, oh. When I first saw that shit, my mind was blown. So, least favorite moment, huh? Boy, oh boy, where do I even begin? Sasuke, in general, is my least favorite moment of Naruto. Yeah, but no, honestly, there's so many least favorite moments when it comes to Sasuke. I just genuinely think he has either some of the best or some of the absolute garbage worst moments. For example, this is not my complete answer, this is an example. His fight in the Chunin exams against Yoroi, absolute garbage. This is the most trash fight I've ever seen. And they kind of made Sasuke, they try to make Sasuke look impressive, extremely lame. He fought a father ninja, you know, he wasn't important in any way, and honestly, it was very disappointing. Another moment that I really dislike is when Sasuke was about to maybe leave the village, and Kakashi kind of, you know, cornered him, and he was like, you know, this isn't the way you should do things, Sasuke. Trust me on that, you know? And you know, Sasuke kind of looks at him angrily, and he's like, what if I killed all of your friends and family? And Kakashi just responds calmly, you know, yeah, they're already dead. And Sasuke gets this like, oh, fuck, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Really apologize, right? He didn't say it, but he definitely, by the way his expression changed, you know, he was definitely thinking it. And that conversation alone, I think, should have been enough to kind of stop Sasuke from leaving the village. But then, you know, the Sound Four, they show up, and you think that it's gonna be a overwhelming victory for the Sound Four because it's 4-on-1, right? But Sasuke kind of manhandles them alone, and that's pretty impressive, not gonna lie. But then after they kind of turn into second state, they're like, ah yes, now since all four of us are like in second state, we're better than you, right? Or not all four, I think it was only Sakon and Yukon, but still, nonetheless, Sasuke kind of destroyed all four of them in base form, right? And somehow these chumps, they managed to kind of convince Sasuke that, yeah, we have overwhelming power, and you should definitely come with us if you want to be like us, and maybe in the future gangbang on somebody, being 4 people to 1 and lose like us, right? You should definitely come with us if you want that kind of power. And Sasuke's like, huh, yeah, that does sound like a good deal. I think I'll take it. Extremely stupid. I don't know. Sasuke is not the greatest at making good decisions. I think that's been shown throughout the entire story. But I understand where he's coming from. You know, he has a clouded judgment. He is clouded by revenge and hatred. So I'm not gonna kind of like judge him too harshly for that. What I am gonna judge him for, my least favorite Sasuke moment, comes from Shippuden in the fight versus Deidara. Now, as the moment I said the fight versus Deidara, I'm pretty sure you already know what I'm going to talk about. This is about the end of the fight, where pretty much Sasuke has no chakra in his body. Absolutely zero. None. He can barely even stand up. He's like Griffith, you know, before the eclipse. He cannot move. And he's laying there. And Deidara is right next to him. And when I say right next to him, I mean right next to him. If Deidara stretched out his, mouth hand, he could basically fucking, lick Sasuke's forehead. That's how close he is. And Deidara is like, you thought I was done. You thought this was my final, attack? Well, too fucking bad. Have you ever heard of an atom bomb? Huh? Have you ever heard of this, colossal monstrosity that you're about to face? And Deidara, he kind of like, we see this disgusting face on his chest, and he kind of, I don't know what he did. Did he pull it out? Did he feed it clay? I don't know. But basically, Deidara did something along the lines of, not an atom bomb, but it was pretty huge. Disgustingly huge. And that explosion was enough to wipe out an entire forest, I think it was. And Sasuke was laying there, no mana, not mana, chakra. Jesus Christ. Fucking hate League of Legends. But yeah, he had no chakra. And what did he do? Well, he did what any man with no chakra would do. Obviously. He took out a summoning scroll and summoned one of the legendary 3 beasts of the Sannin, the Orochimaru snake, hid in his mouth, and covered himself from the explosion. Now, maybe if there's no way you can excuse this shit. There is absolutely zero way you could excuse this shit. I've seen, I think, a lot of videos trying to defend this shit. None of this shit holds up in court. All of this, defenses and whatnot from, salty Sasuke fans, just none of it holds up. It's garbage. It's garbage. Kishimoto wrote himself into a corner with that fight, and he had to think of a way to kind of get Sasuke out. And maybe Kishimoto thought he was being smart. He maybe thought he made Sasuke look cool by sacrificing one of the legendary 3 beasts, and not giving a fuck, right? And he maybe thought that Sasuke would come out as cool after that, but he came out as a complete, lucky loser. That's it. Nobody thought Sasuke was cool after this. He thought that, people thought that he was just guarded by plot armor, basically. And of course, Deidara dies and he self-destructs, and Sasuke wins, and unfairly. Deidara should have won that fight easily. And it's a shame. It's a real shame, because the whole fight was actually really good, because Sasuke really does, present himself as this smart tactician that can really control and manipulate his chakra the way he wants. It was a really tactical battle, and I think it's a real shame, because, yeah, sure, I hate Sasuke, but I liked him in that battle, so why, by the end of it, I should have been a Sasuke fan. I should have been converted, but at the end of it, I was left, hating Sasuke even more, so what can you do? That's my least favorite moment. And now for my favorite moment, on a much more lighter note. I think this is going to be an ongoing thing, where I say on a much more lighter note when I start talking about my favorite moment. But yeah, cheers guys. Here's a cup of coffee to you, the viewers. Absolutely incredible. So, my favorite Sasuke moment. Honestly, this may surprise a lot of you, but there's a there's a fair amount. There is a fair amount of favorite Sasuke moments, not gonna lie. Like I said, one of these moments is when he manhandled all 4 of the Sound 4. That was pretty impressive, right? Until he decided to leave the village. You know, that was dumb. But I like that. I like that moment a lot. But if I had to be completely honest, my absolute favorite moment is when Sasuke fought Orochimaru in the Forest of Death. And some of you may think that maybe, isn't that a bit like a mid-tier, maybe above average moment? Sasuke surely has a lot better moments than that, and I kind of agree, but this moment is special to me personally, because this moment for me encaptures what Naruto is about as a series. I think this really represents what Naruto should have been and should have stayed, and I'm happy to say that until the end of the first Naruto, when they're kids, it kind of held that spirit in high regards, and I really liked it. And yeah, everything from the music, because it basically had the best soundtrack. It was Rising Spirit, I think it was. Yeah. That's the best. That is the Naruto soundtrack. I know Strong and Strike or Naruto's theme, they are memed a lot, but no, Rising Spirit is the best soundtrack. It is the Naruto soundtrack. And not only that, you can tell that the moment Sasuke is, he's over with cowering in fear, he decides that he has to step up and protect his friends when it's most needed. The moment he bites the kunai, that is when the animation... I'm actually getting chills talking about it. This is actually a good moment. This is such a good moment. But the way the music starts swelling up, you can definitely see the change in animation as well, the quality. Definitely. And you're like, oh my god, I'm in for some amazing shit. And you couldn't be more right, because amazing shit does happen. And, you have Orochimaru, he kind of starts toying around with Sasuke. He's not, going all out, but back then we couldn't know that. And you get to see this amazing hand-to-hand combat between Sasuke and Orochimaru. It's like, it's so good because it really fits the music, the tune of the music as well. I don't know who fucking animated that shit, but they deserve a place in heaven, if heaven exists, right? A place in heaven right next to, I don't know, fucking Gandhi or some shit, or Dalai Lama, I don't know. But what I'm trying to say in my absolute ignorance is that the animator and director and whoever worked on that episode, they all deserve a place in heaven right next to God. And not only that, not only was it a visual spectacle to behold, it was also a really important moment for Sasuke, which I think maybe at that point Sasuke would start becoming my favorite character, and that's honestly the whole thing I maybe dislike with Sasuke. It's at moments he seems like he will, turn around. He's gonna go through some character development and kind of solidify himself in my eyes as a top tier character, and a character that I would love to see. And by the end of it, something happens, and he's right back at square one, and he's even more maybe annoying next time we see him. And it's a constant like roller coaster of what do I feel for this character. So that's why I don't like Sasuke a lot of the times. But that moment in the Forest of Death, absolutely amazing, absolutely fantastic. If I were to showcase Naruto to a person who's not watched Naruto, I would probably show him that moment. So yeah. And as we are approaching the end of our drawing, before we get to see how it turns out entirely, you guys will have to vote between the next two characters we will draw. One being the greatest master teacher, Kakashi Hatake, or you'll have to choose between the Mirror Ice assassin ninja girl boy, I don't know what he is at this point, Haku, which I think is a very underrated character, but a very loved one. So unlike Sakura vs Sasuke last week, which was a landslide victory for Sasuke, this week I'm kind of interested to see, because yeah, sure, Kakashi may win, but I don't think Haku will give up without putting up a fight. I know there's a lot of Haku fans, so vote wisely, because whichever one you vote for, the other one gets disqualified. So whichever one wins, that's the one I'm drawing. So yeah. And the way you can vote, guys, remember, you can go over on my Instagram page, on my Instagram story, and there you can click on the voting poll for which one, which character you want to see drawn next. Or the other way, if you don't want to go to Instagram, you can just vote by commenting below the video. And that also helps the video a lot, because it comments, it's a comment. It pushes it in the algorithm. And with that, guys, I present to you our Sasuke Uchiha drawing. Now, I hope I did him justice. You guys tell me. Personally, I'm very satisfied with how this, drawing turned out. All of these drawings will be in a black and white manner with, a certain accent when it comes to overall color and eyes. And I think that will look really nice once it's put together by the end. So yeah, be sure to like this video, click that subscribe button, and click that notification bell, and follow me on social media at VakuDraws on Instagram, Twitter, and even if you're feeling, generous, you can go on over to my Patreon, just saying, wink wink, and I will catch you all next time. Bye bye.